Alright, as part of my Dana 30 upgrade, I'm gonna put some different gears in and going from 3.55 to 4.56 gear ratio. I'm also going to upgrade the U-joints, the axle shafts, front axle shafts. Since this is a 1989 Jeep Cherokee, it has the older U-joints that are smaller. I forget the exact year, I want to say 96 or something like that. They upgraded the U-joints up here. These axle shaft U-joints were upgraded to a larger size, which means that they have more strength and all that, and with the bigger tires that I have on here, I kind of want that. With Dana 30s, you don't hear too much about people snapping axle shafts. It's usually, oh, I broke a U-joint, because the U-joints are kind of the weak link, so you can just pull your axle shaft out and swap U-joints. But I'm going to put my bigger shafts in there, and I'm also, an added bonus, I have the vacuum central axle disconnect, which has the two-piece front axle. So I am going to remove that whole two-piece design and the vacuum shift motor and all that crap, so that I can just have a standard, you know, front axle without all this vacuum actuated bullshit. So that'll be fun. For a whole bunch of details on this for tearing down your Dana 30, I would definitely say to check out my Dana 30 teardown video, and if you need help rebuilding it, there's also a rebuild video. So we're just going to focus more on the two-piece to one-piece axle conversion. Alright, axle shafts are out, hubs are out, brakes are off, all that crap. Calipers are up out of the way. Okay, with your bolts zipped off, there you go. Cover, for me the cover fell right off, because I've been using Felpro gaskets now instead of RTV. Honestly, I enjoy the gaskets so much. They're really easy to put on, and a ton easy to take off. And if you look now, there's nothing, no issues. I just gotta clean that up with a paper towel. So, yeah, I like gaskets. Now, bearing caps. When you take the bearing caps off, make sure you mark them. I marked them since I did the job before. So if you notice, this has 2 dots at the top, so this is the right. And this one over here is 1 dot at the top, which is top left. So, when you zip those carrier bolts out, your carrier will fall out if your bearings are bad. If it doesn't fall out, you'll have to get a pry bar and wedge it out, which means that it's got the proper preload on it, at least. I forgot, since I have this two-piece, that C-clip's got to come out. If you look carefully, that clip right there is what holds my center axle shaft in. So I got to knock that C-clip out, and then I can slide that shaft out. Alright, since you're in your carrier, and you're replacing the one seal, you're going to have to put a seal over here for this two-piece to work. You might as well come over here and replace this one, because the first time I took this whole thing apart, I didn't replace this one, and it leaked. And of course the one over there also leaked. So after rebuilding this whole axle, my axle leaked, so I had to take the whole fucking thing apart again, which I'm doing now. So, to take out this oil seal over here, to replace it, it's going to look something like that. Here's the new one, just so you can get a look of it. It's got a lip on there that helps guide the axle shaft into the middle so you don't rip the seal. And on the back is the actual seal. So there's my old one, covered in dirt and grime and just about anything else you can think of. But I just took a really big diameter pipe that would ride in that cup nicely. And if you notice, it sticks out over there pretty good. Just take your sledge and beat the fuck out of it, and it'll come out along with all the dirt and everything else in your axle tube. So get ready to clean everything out. That's why some people will put seals on the outside of the tube to keep all that dirt out of there, which, I don't know. They cost a fuckload of money. I don't think I feel like dumping that kind of money in there just to keep my tubes clean. That's what the inner seals are for. So, now that you got that, you can see what the seal looks like. And I think this might even fit on the other side too if you wanted to go this route. So yeah, there you go. Seal removal. Alright, now here are the things, this is the kit that I bought to go from the two-piece to the one-piece. And you could make this, you don't really need it, but it came with both parts that I needed. And, you know, they were actually the right sizes. So, here's the seal that they give you. And it's, you know, very plain Jane seal. It's got some red sealer on the outside and the regular seal. If you look at the new one for the inner left, this one is a different design, but it's also a different diameter. So they are not the same outer diameter seal. They are the same inner diameter for the shafts, but the outer diameter is a little smaller on the other two. So if you're trying to order the parts that you need, make sure that you know that. If you come inside here, you can see the different parts where it steps. You can see the sealing surface here, and you can see the tube surface, and that is a slightly different diameter. Sorry to tell, you can't really see with all the dirt in there, but this side does not have that. It's just one straight shot. So that's why you need the slightly lower inner diameter. So, yeah, don't forget that. It might be easier to install this one first and then do the other one, because this one you might be able to stick a tube or a pipe or something all the way through to knock that one in. And then this one you might be able to use extensions or something on the back side. I don't know. I'll figure out what I'm going to figure out. The other thing this comes with is a block-off plate. You know, it's just a piece of black metal with some holes drilled in it. Pretty simple. And you're going to use that for your vacuum disconnect right there. You're going to take that whole assembly off. And really, you don't have to do that much. If you didn't want to buy the plate in the kit, you could just buy the seal, take the shift collar out of the motor, and then just put the motor back on, and that would be perfect for sealing up. But I want to get rid of all that crap and just get it out of the way, make it a little cleaner. So there's 4 bolts that hold that on there, and then you can take that whole assembly out, and you can also take all the vacuum lines out too that go up into hard lines and up to the top. That'll be fun to track down. Alright, so since we are deleting the central axle disconnect, we can physically delete the vacuum shift motor, which is this guy under here. This will be on the back passenger side of your Jeep for the Dana 30 axle. So 4 bolts removed. You got 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. I already took this off once, so it's got RTV on there, so I'll have to knock it off with the hammer. You can also take the shield off. There's 2 bolts under there for that. And then remove the vacuum lines. So you got these 2 lines that'll run up to hard lines here. And then you got a bracket that holds it on there. If you look up higher, there's another bracket that holds them up. And then they go past your charcoal canister. I'm not sure if they go left or right. Take a good old look in there. Whole lot of nothing. There's some nice clean fluid on top and some old dirty fluid on the bottom. So, you can see a bearing in there on that side, which may or may not need to be removed. Hopefully not. But if not, I guess a long pipe and a hammer will do the job. And over here should be the remains of a seal that wasn't really doing its job. So those can all stay in there, I believe. And then you can just put your block-off plate on, or make one or something. Or if you want, you can just reinstall the motor and take the fork off or something. So you can get creative, make your own, buy your own, use the old stuff. There's tons of options. Just fill up this hole with something. Alright, time to put our new seals in. So this is going to be the inner driver's side. This little cup looking thing is going to go towards the outside, like so. So, I don't know, I'm going to try a couple different things. I got a pipe that fits on the outside pretty well. So I'm going to try that, lube up the outside and see if I can whack it in there. If not, maybe I'll get a really long tube or something to stick down there and hit it out of that side, or I don't know. I'll let you know what works. This seal is not as easy as I thought it was. So, in order to install that seal, you're going to need a lot more power than just being able to knock it with a hammer a couple of inches. So, I was going to take that big ass pipe and bring it on this side onto that side to hammer it in from this side. And I'm like, oh, that'll work. But this fucking bearing was in the way. So I just gave him the dick the big pipe wasn't fitting for some reason. The outer diameter must have been just a little bit, something was wrong. I guess a little too big for it to fit through that hole or whatever. And that bearing wasn't budging. It moved about an eighth of an inch. I'm like, oh cool, it's moving. And I'm beating the fuck out of that thing and it's not moving. I'm like, all right, try something different. So now I have a smaller pipe right there. So that's the bearing right there inside of that. So I got the bearing out. I used a smaller pipe, but it wasn't a long pipe. So I put a cap on that. Like that. So then I got the cap, and then the big pipe, and I was hitting on that. And then that only took a couple good blows, and the thing came right out. So now I can swap the pipe, put it on the other side, and knock that seal in carefully. So that's what that inner bearing looks like. It's just a needle bearing setup. Pretty simple. So now that thing's out of the way, I got a straight shot all the way to the other side. So let's set that seal up and see if I can knock it in carefully. So, dumbass me forgot an important factor here. With the big pipe, obviously, it wasn't pushing just the bearing. You know, it was also hitting the tube, the axle tube. So I don't know why I didn't pick up at that point that, oh yeah, it's not going to fit through the tube to begin with, so taking this bearing out isn't really helping because this pipe isn't going to work. So then I tried, okay, we'll do a smaller thing, and maybe we'll put a cap on there, and we'll flip another cap on there, and do this and do that, and well, the thing kept falling apart, kept going in crooked. I tried, okay, maybe we'll try a seal installer, but that's going in crooked and doesn't really have the power, so I just said, fuck it. Found a very thin, long pipe, and I just started tapping around the edges, because it was already crooked towards the top, so then I just started beating the crap out of it on the bottom. And she's in there now. Pretty straight. I didn't mess up the seal. So fuck it. That was a pain in the ass. So now we can do this side and finish the seals. Okay, so after completely butchering this seal, I figured I was going to need a new one, because this one's pretty fucked up. I could not for the life of me get it to go in straight. If you notice on the right side, that lip is not exactly in there, and on this side, there's a bit of a gap. So that seal is definitely not in straight. It's not fucking circular anymore, it's just fucked. So I wasn't too impressed with that. I don't know if it wasn't the right size or what, but I could not get that thing to go in. I had to beat that thing pretty hard. So, new seal. This one I ordered online. This is a SKF or a CR 11800 oil seal. It's got a 2-inch outer diameter, I guess, or a bore. And it's got a 1 1/4 inch inner diameter seal, and it's 1/4 inch thick. So it's a much smaller seal that should hopefully fit in there the way I need it to. So I'm going to punch that old one out with a long pipe and see if this one doesn't go in a little better. Try it again. So here's the old new one. As you can see, that lip is pretty far gone. It went in very crooked and the seal wasn't really straight. So I tried the new one, and at first it was doing the same thing. It was going in sideways and it was all distorted. So I punched it back out and rounded it out as best as I could. It wasn't warped too bad. And I took it inside with my little Dremel grinder, and I grinded the outside a couple times until it fit in a little nicer. And I actually got it in with just a hammer. I just took my hammer like this and I was just working my way around. I started on one end and then worked on the other end and up and down, and I finally got it in there. It was going in crooked. The back side was sticking farther in than the front. So what I did is I worked the front end as far as I could get to go, and then I took that pipe right there that I used to take the old seals out, and what I did is I positioned it so that it was pointing on the part that was sticking in the most, and then I took the hammer from the other side and lightly tapped the pipe until I got it to an acceptable range. So I don't know if my housing's a little messed up or just a little bit smaller than usual, but a 2-inch seal definitely doesn't do it. It's just a little too tight. The seal warps before it goes in. So that was a pain in the ass. I don't want to do that again anytime soon. So now that seal's done, I think we can put our axle shafts in. And our carrier and all that crap too, you know. Alright, after you're done doing your seal, you can throw your carrier back in. Make sure to torque your carrier cap bolts properly. They should get 60 foot-pounds of torque. So, as long as you got a little bit of movement, you're ready for your one-piece axle to slide in. Alright, if these are used shafts, you should hit them up with some sandpaper around the sealing surface. So in this machined area right here, just take some sandpaper and run over it for a little bit. You want to try and get rid of some of the grooves so the seal doesn't leak. And then after that, put a little gear oil on there, just so it slides into the seal real easy and has something to lube up at first. So, now that that's all ready, we can take our shafts and stick them in. Try and, especially for the long one, keep some support and try to lift it up as you put it in so it's not hitting the bottom of the seal, but actually goes in through the center and then doesn't rest on the seal, but actually contacts the carrier and slides into that instead. The seal is not really meant to support weight, it just kind of, you know, seals. Did you say seal? Okay, this is how deep she goes when she's fully seated. So, I'll just put these little plastic caps on in case they, you know, keep out anything at all, which I kind of doubt, but whatever. I didn't put the cover plate on yet, because it does give you an access hole that will help you pick up the shaft if you need to. So I put my hand in there to help support the shaft when you go to slide it in, so you don't fuck up that seal. On the other side, the seal has like a metal lip on it that helps guide the shaft in. This one does not, so you have to make sure you line it up properly. So take it easy, and then when you start getting towards the end, start spinning it until you feel that it's engaged. You'll know. So there you go. Your two pieces are now connectified. So now you can put all the other crap back together and put that cover plate on. Sweet. Got my Felpro gasket on here, because fuck RTV. And the bolts. So, cover it up, make it look pretty. Last thing to do underneath is to put your cover plate on. I accidentally snapped one of the bolts with my my little impact gun, so I guess these bolts are a little fragile. Oh well. I didn't put RTV on there, because really, what's the point? You have a seal down there now, and if you seal that up, I mean, it might help a little, but you're figuring something out here. There's no seal out here, so even if you did seal that up, dirt and water and all that shit will still be able to get in there. So unless you're putting a seal up here too, like some kind of fancy outer axle shaft seal, then don't worry about sealing that up. So I just bolted on there. All right, 2-piece to 1-piece is now officially complete. Besides fucking around with those vacuum lines, that's about the whole process right there. Pretty simple. Put the tires on, tighten down your nuts. Alright, with your coolant bottle and your bracket out of the way, you can get a better idea of what's going on. So the hard lines, as you can see, are down there right under the canister. So, we got a couple lines here. We got one that's a T that goes to this. I believe this is the interior dash switch. So this is what comes on when your 4-wheel drive works. So you got your little connector here. I guess that's a ground or something, I don't know. Yeah, definitely a ground. So this is probably the ground for your switch right here. It's connected to this. And then when this vacuum operated valve closes, it grounds that, and then your light comes on. So along with that, you have a T that goes into this white line. I don't know if that's a one-way or what that is. This blue, I think, is a vent. I'm not sure. And then you got your green and your yellow, which also run up to this whole thing up here. Now, the red one, I'm not sure what's going on with this red guy. This goes into a Y. That might be for the charcoal canister. No. Ah, okay. See, that goes over to the intake. So that's the intake thing over here. So you got a Y for this red one. So the red, I guess, is the supply vacuum. Then you got this hose runs quite far, actually. Keeps going, keeps going. Goes somewhere to the front. Oh, that must go to the vacuum, the ball up here. So that goes to this guy. These two guys are basically together, and then they're zip tied the whole way up. So if you follow back, the supply tube to that right here. Come on. Yeah, this tube right here that goes down there, the tube is actually connected to them, so they're just zip tied, and you follow them back over here. It's this black line right here. So this black line actually goes into this guy. So this right here is your heater control valve. Back when I had the regular bottle, there was a valve here that would open or close to let water or coolant into your heater core. I since deleted that, and instead I installed a manual one if I really need it. But right now my engine never gets up to temperature no matter what I do, unless I'm off-roading or whatever. So I just got that there. Yeah, if you come down here, you got your 4 colors. So you got your red, white, green, and blue, I believe. Would you focus? Fuck, you're worse than a fucking preschooler. Alright. Yeah. So the red and the white control the switch, the green and the blue control the shifter, if my colors are right. So yeah, you could still keep that switch if you want. Cool. Good to know. Alright, without a gas tank, I can't start my engine to see if this whole system works correctly. So, I don't know, I'll have to test this out later. But this is the new setup I got going. So from the switch, I cut part of the hose off, part of the hard line, just because I like this little thing. It helps you pull the hoses in and out, so it just gives you something to grab on. So I have that line going to the white line down here, and then the red is still hooked up. I'm going to leave the blue, the green, and the yellow for now. And I don't know. I know that they may have to be capped off, but again, I got to check what I can remove and what I can't remove when I start it up and see how the vacuum works and everything. There's some one-way valves and stuff. I think I might keep my my vacuum ball, because something else I didn't think of, this is kind of like a storage tank. It holds all that extra vacuum, so the engine doesn't have to work as hard to turn that light on and off. But I'm thinking maybe relocating it. Alright, just to show you, moved my vacuum ball, took out all the old hose, you know, all that good stuff, and snipped it right there. So now the tube just runs from there into this vacuum canister, and this out port right here, I just took the hose that was on there and just plugged it. So this goes a little farther than it needs to. If you want, you could just plug the hole right there or figure out something to do. But I don't know, I'm just going to leave it like that. That should be fine. And what's cool is the ball will fit right here where I need it. Right here. Coolant bottle fits there. There you go. Now everything sits pretty decently. And if I want, I could attach the ball to something if I wanted or some shit, but that's fine. So I think that's going to take care of my vacuum for now. I'll come back when I can start the engine and really mess with it.